Every 3 minutes, someone in the senior community suffers an unexpected and fatal heart attack with no prior warning signs. Families are left devastated as loved ones vanish in an instant, often without a chance to say goodbye. These sudden tragedies seem to strike out of nowhere, but in reality, they are the tragic culmination of silent damage happening inside the body for years. The devastating truth is that many seniors are unknowingly fueling this danger every morning with their typical breakfast routines. Many start their day with white bread or sugary cereals, believing these foods are harmless comfort and quick energy sources. They look innocent, just a slice of toast smeared with butter or a bowl of sweetened flakes, yet beneath that surface lies a hidden threat. These foods cause sharp glucose spikes shortly after eating, primarily because white bread and sugary cereals have a high glycemic index. White bread, made from refined wheat flour, is absorbed rapidly into the bloodstream, causing blood sugar levels to rise within just 15 minutes of consumption. Sugary cereals, loaded with processed sugars and empty carbs, have an even more dramatic effect, pushing blood sugar levels up by 50 to 70% within minutes. These sudden spikes set off an inflammatory cascade inside the arteries without immediate symptoms, but the damage is accumulating. The intense, rapid blood sugar increases stimulate an inflammatory response in the arterial walls, producing cytokines and oxidative stress that weaken the inner lining of blood vessels. This damage, called endothelial injury, begins at a microscopic level, creating tiny tears and irregularities. Over time, the body's natural repair mechanisms respond by depositing fatty deposits, cholesterol, dead cells, and other debris, forming plaques inside the arteries. These plaques are fragile and can rupture unexpectedly with even minor triggers. The initial damage may be silent, little tears in the vessel lining that go unnoticed for years. But each violent spike in blood sugar causes a small, invisible tear, and the continuous inflammation gradually weakens the arterial walls. As tears enlarge and accumulate cholesterol, the plaques grow larger and more fragile, increasing the risk of rupture. When a plaque ruptures, it exposes its inner core of fatty material and cellular debris to the bloodstream, prompting a clot to form rapidly at the rupture site. This blood clot can block the artery instantly, cutting off oxygen supply to the heart muscle or brain, resulting in a sudden heart attack or stroke. The entire process can unfold within seconds once a rupture occurs, leaving no time for warning or intervention. The tragedy lies in the fact that these silent fatty deposits and inflamed arteries are invisible to the individual until catastrophe strikes. Many seniors remain unaware of the danger swirling inside their bodies, simply continuing their routine without hesitation. Medical studies show that this process can initiate in early middle age but often accelerates once blood sugar regulation becomes erratic, what many call insulin resistance, most notably after age 50. As blood sugar spikes become more frequent and severe, the cumulative damage becomes undeniable. The key to breaking this deadly chain lies in a simple yet powerful dietary change. If seniors replace their usual white bread or sugary cereals with oatmeal topped with fresh berries and a handful of walnuts, they can significantly reduce the inflammatory response. Oatmeal, rich in soluble fiber, helps slow down glucose absorption and keeps blood sugar levels stable for at least 2 hours after eating. Berries, packed with antioxidants, combat inflammation and endothelial damage, while walnuts contain omega-3 fatty acids that support arterial health. By making this small shift to a breakfast that includes half a cup of cooked oatmeal with a handful of mixed berries and a quarter cup of chopped walnuts, seniors can dramatically lower their blood sugar spikes. A precise guideline would be to prepare the oatmeal with 2/3 cup of rolled oats, cooking it with 1.5 cups of water until soft but not mushy. Add 2 tablespoons of fresh blueberries or strawberries, and sprinkle a quarter cup of chopped walnuts on top. Eating this meal within the first 15 minutes of waking ensures a slow and steady glucose absorption, preventing the dangerous spikes that trigger arterial inflammation. Integrating this habit into daily life not only stabilizes blood sugar, but also addresses the root cause of arterial weakening, thereby reducing the risk of fatal ruptures. Every senior should know that what they eat at breakfast sets the tone for their vascular health for the entire day. Making this conscious, simple adjustment can be the turning point between silent danger and long-lasting health. Over time, as the damage from repeated blood sugar spikes accumulates stealthily inside the arteries, fatty plaques begin to develop. These plaques are composed of cholesterol, dead cells, and cellular debris that collect and harden within the arterial walls. Initially, they are tiny and symptomless, causing no outward signs of danger. A senior might feel perfectly fine going about daily routines, oblivious to the silent threat growing inside. These plaques develop gradually over months and years, often unnoticed because they do not cause pain or immediate symptoms. Meanwhile, the inflammation caused by prior blood sugar spikes weakens and inflames the endothelial lining, the delicate inner layer of the blood vessels. This process creates microscopic tears and irregularities that serve as points of vulnerability. The plaques, which are fragile and prone to rupture, continue growing, moving deeper into the arterial walls and pushing outward. The nucleus of each plaque contains a fatty core rich in lipids and cellular debris, covered by a fibrous cap that can become thin and fragile over time. When the cap finally ruptures due to internal stress, it exposes the highly thrombogenic core to the bloodstream. This sudden rupture triggers the body's natural clotting mechanism, causing a large blood clot to form rapidly. This process can happen within seconds of the rupture, often catching both the patient and medical professionals off guard. The blood clot can enlarge quickly as platelets and fibrin accumulate, sealing off the artery entirely. In the crucial seconds after rupture, a clot can grow from a few millimeters to several centimeters, enough to completely block an essential vessel. When the vessel is sealed shut, oxygen-rich blood cannot reach vital organs like the heart or the brain. The result is an acute and catastrophic event, a heart attack or stroke, that often develops and announces itself with stunning speed. Victims may collapse suddenly, with no prior warning, experiencing symptoms such as sudden paralysis, severe chest pain, or loss of consciousness in less than 30 seconds. The severity of these events is amplified by their rapid onset, leaving no window for intervention once the artery is totally blocked. The entire sequence, from plaque rupture to clot formation and vessel occlusion, can occur faster than a person can realize what is happening. When a major coronary artery or cerebral vessel is fully blocked by such a clot, the consequences are devastating. The brain or heart tissue begins to die almost instantly due to oxygen deprivation, leading to irreversible damage. The idea that this process can be ongoing unnoticed makes it even more terrifying, as many seniors live their lives believing they are healthy until the moment catastrophe strikes unexpectedly. This silent buildup of fragile plaques underscores the importance of preventative measures before warning signs appear. It emphasizes how crucial it is to understand that the danger lies not just in symptoms, but in the microscopic, invisible damage that is slowly robbing the body of its resilience. Vigilance, proper diet, and early intervention are essential to prevent this terrible chain of events from reaching its deadly conclusion. The dangerous cascade does not end with a single clot blocking a blood vessel. That clot is merely the surface manifestation of a profound and insidious systemic failure within the vascular system. Over many years, repeated spikes in blood glucose and inflammatory assaults weaken the endothelial lining year after year. Tiny tears accumulate, and fragile plaques form and grow, gradually transforming a healthy network of arteries into a battlefield of damage and instability. The arterial walls, once supple and resilient, become rigid, frayed, and prone to rupture even with minor triggers, such as fluctuations in blood pressure or physical exertion. This systemic deterioration creates a precarious environment where any slight stress, like bending, twisting, or even an unnoticed flicker of elevated blood sugar, can ignite a catastrophic event. The entire network of blood vessels becomes a fragile web, poised on the edge of failure, and the risk of a small disturbance turning into a massive, life-threatening crisis continues to escalate. When one of these fragile plaques ruptures, the resulting clot enlarges rapidly, sealing off a critical artery in mere seconds. The terrifying aspect is not just that it happens suddenly, but that the entire process is predestined by microscopic damage and inflammation accumulated silently over years. This is not an isolated incident, but a systemic failure that has been quietly progressing beneath the surface. Medical imaging and autopsies reveal arteries riddled with countless tiny, unstable plaques that are virtually impossible to detect without sophisticated testing. Many seniors live unaware because no pain, no warning, no symptoms herald the impending doom. It's a ticking time bomb embedded in their own bodies, ready to explode at the slightest provocation. The final danger is that once this fragile, compromised vascular infrastructure reaches collapse, the ensuing event is swift, unpreventable, and often lethal. The clot that seals an artery cuts off vital oxygen and nutrients, starving the heart muscle or brain tissue within seconds. This unrelenting process leaves no room for error or rescue once triggered. Blood vessels have turned into fragile, brittle channels that, under the relentless strain of inflammation and plaque accumulation, can fail at a moment's notice. The terrifying reality is that the damage is invisible to those affected, hidden within the microscopic layers of arterial walls. By the time symptoms appear, the damage has become irreversible, and the only outcome is tragedy. Preventing this final act requires halting these destructive processes before they reach their breaking point. The most effective known method is adopting an anti-inflammatory diet that targets the root causes. Consuming a breakfast of oatmeal cooked with 1.5 cups of water, topped with 2 tablespoons of fresh blueberries and a quarter cup of chopped walnuts within the first 15 minutes of waking can slow down blood sugar absorption significantly. The soluble fiber in oatmeal traps glucose, releasing it gradually over 2 hours, while the antioxidants in berries combat inflammation and oxidative stress. Walnuts provide omega-3 fatty acids that rebuild arterial resilience. This simple yet powerful shift minimizes inflammation, dissolves potential plaques, and keeps blood clotting mechanisms in check. By consistently consuming at least 3 cups of oatmeal weekly, adding 2 tablespoons of berries and a quarter cup of walnuts daily, seniors can create a protective barrier against the systemic decay that leads to catastrophic failure. The routine acts as a shield, strengthening arterial walls, reducing the likelihood of plaque rupture, and preventing the formation of dangerous blood clots. It is this daily conscious adjustment, an anti-inflammatory breakfast, that holds the power to interrupt this deadly chain, saving lives designed to be lost before the tragic event even begins.